All right, we'll start moving. Maybe others will join us. Maybe not. We'll find shelter in the storm together. Inside. All right, if you're joining me in Sufi grind, sit up tall. Take a huge breath in to lengthen rib cage off the hips. Expand through the chest, lengthen through back of neck. Exhale, lean forward a touch and circle your straight-ish spine. Small circles. Sensing the tip of your tail, drawing little circles on the ground. And start to smooth out those circles. Feel the parts of your body that are on the ground. The weight shift hip to hip, thigh to thigh. You can use your hands as you lean away from one thigh, maybe gently press into it. And invite your breath down into the area you're waking up, down in low belly pelvis. Like adding water to your oatmeal so it becomes smoother, blended. Mix in your breath. And once you have a sense of stirring up this area, this is where in most yogas we say our vital life force is stored down in the sacrum. Some call this the Kundalini energy, the coiled up snake that will start to snake up your spine. Well, you can invite that energy to start growing up the spine, moving your spine more freely. And you may choose to circle and coil, or maybe you'll just tap into that breath, that deep breath, and go into more free form movements or static stretches. Bring your nourishing breath into the tighter areas, not forcing anything to open. Or, of course, you might choose to come into a still place and focus on the breath. Even without movement, you'll notice how you can crawl the breath anywhere in your body as you shift your attention from center to extremities. From tissues, maybe even down as if you could feel into individual cells. If you've been circling in one direction, now is a good time to pause Take a breath in to lengthen your spine. Exhale, reverse your circles. We'll keep going for about a dozen more breaths. Bring all of your elements of self to the present moment through the breath. Using your felt sense, feeling your physical body from your body. So shifting from awareness in the head down to actually the awareness of what you feel where you touch the earth. And your bones and tissues that are moving or not with breath. But not disconnecting your head, your mind from this practice, inviting it in through the sound of your breath. Steadying mind with breath so you can watch. Four more breaths. And settling into your still place where whether you're sitting up or you're choosing to lie down, that works too. In your relatively still place, track the internal movement of breath. Being curious about where it's attracted to, what moves easily with your breath. And also being curious about the areas, the physical areas you don't necessarily want to expand with breath. There's resistance. There's a tightening around the breath. Without judgment or analysis. Just let your breath rest there too. Lingering on the exhale, sensing a softening, physically and mentally. It's barometry through the 7 chakras from the top down. If you'd like to use your hands, go ahead, heat them up. You don't have to use your hands. You can simply bring your awareness to the crown of your head. Specifically, the crown is the soft spot where the 3 upper bones of the skull meet. If you'd like to visualize, some people see this as purple, some see it as white light. You can see it coming out, coming in. Higher tone buzz as you buzz the higher region. Inhale. And shifting down to chakra 6, Ajna. I like to cover my eyes with one hand and hold the base of my skull with the other hand. I've been taught that as a way to hold my brainstem between my 2 healing hands. Center of your third eye, center of your glands, pituitary, pineal. Some see this as purple or indigo. You may see nothing at all. You may see something completely different. It's all correct. Breathe in and buzz. Moving down to Vishuddhi, the throat chakra. Throat. Our areas of communication, jaw, mouth, tongue. Some say ears are in the chakra. I think of ears, listening is in this chakra. Some say that's in part of chakra 6. Your intuitive listening. You do what feels right to you today. Some see this as a vibrant blue. Inhale. Down to the heart, anahat, the physical organ of the heart and lungs, the immune system glands, the thymus, the lymphatic drainage vessels, the nodes under your armpits, and usually the very tight shielding at the back of the heart can use some vibration. Often seen as green, whatever green makes you happy, whatever color or visual makes you happy, connect to that. Breathe in. Down to the solar plexus, Manipura. Your digestive organs, everywhere between belly button and diaphragm. Liver's on the right, stomach, spleen on left. Some include the kidneys in the back. Some say that's part of the lower chakra. Anywhere mid-spine. Inhale. Nice sunny yellow brassy buzz. Down to number 2, Svadhisthana. The low belly, pelvic bowl, the tissues of the hips, your reproductive organs, some lower digestive. Element usually associated as water, color orange. Inhale. And we'll complete down at your root chakra, Muladhara. I think of the whole skeleton, but specifically from your sitting bones anywhere down to the earth, knees, especially this time of year, knees tend to be holding a lot. External genitalia, organs of release, our connection to the earth below and the world around us. Nice earthy buzz, vibrant red is often seen. Inhale. If you're not sitting, stay in the vibration, the felt sense as you come up to a seat. Straighten your legs out if you are sitting. If there was any especially interesting area in that meditation, keep breathing into it. Feel free to buzz any of the areas that light up for you as we move into physical practice. Feet on the floor, mats width apart. Hey, Nikki. Lean back on your hands, or you can prop your elbows on your bed, your couch, if that's more comfortable. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, tip your knees to one side. Inhale, center, tall spine. Exhale to the other side. We'll take about 8 more breaths going back and forth like that. The movement might be tiny, like all of our meditations can be. Or if you're feeling the wind energy, those of you who are local and want to take big swishy movements, that's cool. It will walk your hips forward, so bring your hands forward to keep up. Next time your knees drop over to the left side. Let the left knee thigh come all the way to the ground, right knee come down. For some bodies, it'll be much more comfortable to stack your knees. Others, it might feel right to draw the right knee, back knee way back. We'll spiral to the left. If this seat doesn't work at all, take any other seated twist. Right hand around the outside of left thigh. Lean, press your hips forward, especially right hip. So you feel for a flattening and opening through the front of the right hip. And then lift your rib cage off your pelvis. Optional, look over left shoulder, lean cheek to shoulder. If that feels like a sweet opening, root your tail down, breathe the back ribs up. Exhale, draw navel to spine. And exhale, pull your right hip back to the earth to swish your knees over to the other side. Your legs might want a little swish, swish in between sides. You have time. And spiraling around to the right. Left hand comes to the outside of right knee or on the right knee. And press your hips forward, especially left hip, if that feels all right to pelvis. Move tailbone into the body. Inhale, lift the rib cage up, lift the heart up. Exhale, maybe look over the right shoulder. Little tuck of the chin towards collarbone. Some breath all the way down into your hip and feel it spiral up your spine. Exhale, center, hip down to pull you back. Baddha Konasana or cross-legged seat for seated hip opener. If you happen to be in a chair, you can cross one thigh on the other if that works for you, or one ankle on the other thigh. Pick your right thigh up and give it a little massage, softening the tissues right where the thigh bone comes out of the hip. If you've been sitting, standing, or walking a lot, just give them a shake, get them gooey. Then set the right thigh down, right palm in the middle of the right thigh, lean on your left hand. Use your right hand to take the thigh bone and traction it out from the pelvis. Inhale into the space opening up in right hip. Exhale, look over the back shoulder. Inhale, plug pubic bone down and lift the rib cage up. Exhale, draw low belly off your pelvis. Center. Lean to the right so you can pick up your left thigh. And again, just work the tissues a little bit. Get them to slough off the bone. A little let go of the grip. Then set that thigh down. Put your hand in the middle of your thigh. Lean over to the right. Inhale, traction the thigh bone right out the same direction as your knee. You might send it down, but think more out, out, out. And exhale, look over right shoulder. Press the feet together, spread toes apart, unless you're cross-legged. Well, you can still spread the toes and press feet into earth. Breathe into hip. Exhale, release your jaw. And come back to center, straighten your legs out. Dandasana, sort of. Put your hands on the ground next to your hips. You can sit up tall, flex your feet strongly. Inhale. Exhale, point the feet. Inhale, flex, pull your toes back, even pinky toe if you can. Exhale, point. Take 2 more breaths. You can choose to flex point. Some of you might want to roll out your ankles. Do that. And cross right ankle in front of left. Hook your elbows around your knees or catch your knees with your hands if you need. Inhale, lift out of the small of your back, get tall. Rise shoulders to ears a bit. Exhale, massage the shoulders down the back, lift your heart through. Purvatanasana variation. Extend your legs again. Sign. Point toes towards earth. Walk the hands a couple of inches behind hips. For all of these, you can absolutely put your fists down, your knuckles down if this is an intense flexion for your wrists. Press into the earth to lift rib cage off the pelvis, lift out of the small of the back, roll the shoulders back, squeeze elbows back. Maybe let the head go back. Breathe up into your heart, reach your big toes towards the earth. If your head's back, it'll be the last thing to come up as you bring your heart down. Head follows. Cross left ankle in front of right. Hook elbows around knees. Inhale, lift out of your back. Roll shoulders up. Exhale, ease shoulders down. Lift the heart through. And come on down to your back. Let's do a couple of rounds of oblique toner. Lying on your back. We've done this in the past with hips up on a ramp. If you like doing this is the one where we tip knees side to side. If you want to set up your ramp, your bolster, your pile of blankets, or your yoga blocks, go ahead, do that. And you'll settle in with your thighs perpendicular to your torso. So if you do have your hips elevated, knees might come towards you just a bit since you're on an angle. Put your hands, if you can feel low ribs, hips, or just imagine closing off that connection a little bit, shortening the waist. Breathe into the back ribs on the earth. Relax your low belly out. Exhale, pull low belly in. We'll keep that breath rhythm going. Inhale into the back bottom ribs. Tip your knees to the right, leaning off the left hip. Relax low belly. Exhale, engage low belly to come back to center. Inhale into the back of bottom ribs. Tip left, relax low abdominals. Exhale, hug low abdominals in center. If it feels safe to keep your knees together, then glue the knees together. Inhale to back bottom ribs, relax low belly, tip right. Exhale, center. If knees are apart, just feel as if your two legs are working together like one unit. Holding a towel or a block in between can remind them to do that, especially if you feel very unstable, a lot of grinding in your pelvic bones. Exhale, center. Either keep going like that or option to add the arms, interlace fingers, knuckles reach up to the sky. Inhale, tip knees to the right, lower left elbow to the ground beyond left shoulder. You can look. Exhale, pull low belly in, center, knees to sky, knuckles to sky. Inhale, tip to the left, right elbow lowers down. Exhale, use low abdominals to come back to center. Go to each side 1 or 2 more times. And when you are complete, Hug knees towards shoulders like a widening child's pose. Option to hold on behind your knees. Option to start to lift the feet towards a happy baby. You can catch the feet or ankles if you like. We'll do a little half straddle rock. Start to extend the right leg out, fold left heel into pelvis, and reverse. Windshield wiping. Getting breath down more into the groin, the inner thighs, and the hamstrings. Legs may or may not straighten, but they might start to feel a little gooier through those tight inner thighs and hamstrings. And if you get to a place where it feels like a sweet stretch to extend both legs out into a straddle or just a real wide happy baby and send breath into that area, please do. Otherwise, keep rocking. Ground your tailbone down, untuck it to the earth. And then we'll do a round of yoga tune-up rainbows, I think they're called. And we've done it before, but if you want to watch, I'll talk through a round. I'll show you the full expression of how I was taught it and then give a modification. Starting with legs straight up, arms open to a T, palms up. Inhale, down into low back ribs. Exhale, right foot towards right hand. Mine will land, yours might not. And then left foot follows to stack. Inhale, reach the left foot beyond the right. And then exhale, reset, stacking your ankles. Inhale, left leg up and over to the other hand. Right leg stacks. Inhale, reach the right foot. Exhale, restack. Modified. Knees might be bent into a chair shape. There, I would work with the hands down about 45 degrees, palms down, and drop your knees over to the right. Right knee stacks. Inhale, left shin, top shin beyond the bottom. So knee and foot moves forward. Exhale, reset. Inhale, up and over. You can bring your arm with you if the twist hurts shoulders. So I think the most important part of this is that reset part. After you reach, coming into the reset. So some of you don't have room to roll side to side. Maybe you stay on one side for a few breaths and practice that reach. Exhale, reset. So I'll talk through a few rounds, and then if you haven't already started on your own, you can tune me out if you have. Then I'll let you go on your own so you can feel and turn this into whatever you want. Inhale, right foot or knee to the right. Exhale, left leg follows. Cascade effect. And reach the left foot or leg beyond the right. Inhale. It's okay if left hand comes with you. Exhale, restack everything. Pull belly in. Inhale up and over to the other side. Exhale, stack. Inhale, reach top beyond bottom. Exhale, reset. Keep going. If this becomes a free form roll or a held twist, feel into what your body needs right now. Once you finish the round you're on, do one more full round. If you're moving side to side. If you're doing something that's one set at a time, go ahead and finish your second side. When you come back to center, good. Come meet in that wide knee child's pose, knees to shoulders, hands on your knees. You go ahead, circle the legs a few times, together and apart, stirring within the hip joint. Reverse the circles. And then maybe circle them a couple times together, massaging low back into mat, or simply squeeze them in, breathe the back body into the mat. Let's crawl to all fours. We'll do a couple rhomboid push-ups or disarticulated cat-cow type movement. I'm coming down onto elbows. You might choose to stay on hands. If you don't want to be on your knees, sit and do any expression of shoulder shrugs. We're ungluing the shoulders from upper back. So those of you in a quadruped shape on elbows or hands, let's neutralize the spine, lift out of the shoulders a bit so you're not collapsing down. Relax your neck. Reach the pelvis straight back, tailbone, pubic bone, two sitting bones, and dip top rim of the sacrum in a little bit, but keep the front low ribs in your belly. Natural curve to low back, but abdominals are engaged. Keep that steady, that connection between pelvis and low ribs, moving just the upper spine. Inhale, sink your chest towards the earth so your shoulder blades rise behind you. And exhale, upper back to the sky, shoulder blades disappear. Inhale, heart down, shoulder blades melt into your collapsing upper back. Exhale, upper back rises, shoulders continue to draw away from your ears. Take 3 more breaths like that. See if you can keep the neck relaxed. I know the movement of the head wants to help. We're trying to unglue shoulders. The arms pull on our neck so much. All right, back to neutral spine for pelvic tilts. Those of you who are not in a quadruped, you can do this sitting or lying on your back. If you're sitting in a chair, maybe put your hands against the wall so you can stabilize the upper back. We'll all lift out of the shoulders to find that neutral place halfway between rising and collapsing. Again, feel for a neutral low spine, top rim the sacrum down, but low ribs stay in the belly. And then we'll inhale, top rim the sacrum down some more. If it feels right to flare your sitting bones, do that. Exhale, top rim sacrum to ceiling. Take the curve out of the low back. Head and neck stay steady. Rib cage is fairly steady as you tip the pelvis up and down with your breath. Three more breaths. And I think I've said it before, but I like that focus on the top of the pelvis, the top of the sacrum, more than the tail right now. Because I find as you get your breath and movement into this part, it releases any chronic tension that's held in low abdominals, pelvic floor. All right. And then return to your neutral quadruped. We're going to move into some hip circling movements. So, of course, if you need to get off your hands and knees, come onto your back and do the same thing lying on your back. You'll just circle in the other direction. So you can do this down on your elbows. You'll have to engage the abdominals a lot to keep a lift and make enough space to use your hip flexors without tensing them. Neutral tabletop might feel more beneficial, or even if you want to come up and make more space for your hips, Put your hands on blocks or books with your fingers hanging off the edges to take some tension out of the wrists. And again, you'll engage the abdominals, but now you have more space to move. All right, so choose your starting position, any variation of quadruped or lie on your back. Firm up the low belly and low ribs into the body. Breathe into the upper back. Spine's still fairly neutral, though for some backs you might need to tuck the tail. Inhale the right heel straight back, up to the ceiling, knee bent. Keep the hips fairly square as you open right knee out to the side, fire hydrant shape, and exhale, lower down. Other side, inhale, left heel straight up to the sky. Keep the low ribs in, open out to the side, and lower. One more circle in that direction on each side, right heel to sky. Exhale, open it out and down. Keeping ribs, shoulders fairly steady, neck relaxed. Inhale, left heel. Exhale, out and down. Reversing that action now. Move mindfully as you open right hip out to the right thigh out to the side, because that little hip flexor will start barking at you if you move suddenly. Circle it back, knee in, heel up, and down. Inhale, left thigh to the side. Exhale, back and down. Do one more like that to each side, though if that feels crampy, move in the other direction. And bring right knee up to right wrist. We're moving into a deer pose variation. If you're on your back, do figure 4, hook right ankle over left thigh. Right knee to wrist, shin on the ground, sit down on your right hip. So you might recognize this pose from the beginning of class when we twisted. This time we'll come into a low version. So you can bring both hands to the outside of right thigh. Left knee is open or stacked as feels right to you. Maybe lower down to elbows, maybe all the way to head on hands. And I'll give you a moment to settle in either here, but the tissues in the hips are arranged almost like spokes, so you can do that circling action. So maybe you circle your spine to other positions, explore. Some of you walking towards knee, shin, or foot to feel into other spokes. And if you find something that's very interesting to you, go ahead, nuzzle in with that, send your breath for 4 more breaths. Those of you on your back, you might choose to rock out or experiment with your shape too, little twists. We'll feel into the spokes. And those of you in deer pose, you can return to all fours to sit up the other side. Or just like earlier, maybe you pull the left hip down to roll to the other side. I'll talk you through from all fours if you've gone that way. Bring left knee up to wrist. Lean down on your left hip. You can bring left foot forward or right knee back if that's right for you. Start by twisting to thigh, lowering down. And that might be just the spot for you. Or continue to explore for a moment before you settle in, moving your torso closer to knee, shin, or foot. And then when you find the right spot that you want to nestle into on this side, go ahead, close your eyes. Slow your breath. Soak the tighter tissues with your inhale. Sense for unwinding as you breathe out. And we'll slowly make our way to standing forward fold next. So deer pose, you can come back to tabletop to forward fold. Forward fold to get breath into the backs of the legs, hips, and let gravity have your spine. Those of you who do not like to be upside down, head below heart, makes you dizzy, especially in windy circumstances, well, then find a wall or a chair, something you put your hands on. If you're using a wall, then you walk back. So you're kind of in a downward dog leg shape, but not upside down, stretching your spine out, shifting your hips so you can feel into the backs of the legs, the hips, and spine that way. Excuse me. Take a couple breaths. Some of you are swaying. Some of you are slowly bending and straightening your knees so you can feel elasticity in response to your breath and attention. And find your way all the way up. Twisting chair flow. Standing in Tadasana, you can decide foot width depending on how you're going to twist. Some of you will be hips width or wider. Some of you will bring big toes together. For those of you who go into deeper twists, I find that more stabilizing to bring feet and knees together. But we have a few rounds to feel. Sit back into your chair. Bend your knees. Send your tail way back. Pull your belly in. Exhale, little twist, right arm back. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, left arm back. Inhale, reach forward or all the way up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Those of you who don't want to fold, come into a catcher stance instead of folding. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Variation. Inhale, sit back in your chair. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath. Lengthen the back ribs off your low back. Exhale, twist to your right. Left elbow to either thigh, or return to the open arm variation if that's better for you. Take a breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sit back in your chair. Arms forward or hands to heart. Take a breath. Exhale, twist left. Right elbow might reach for either thigh. Again, if you're going all the way across left thigh, maybe feet together feels right to you. Take a breath. Exhale, forward fold or catcher stance. Inhale, half lift, heart forward, tail back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, Samasthiti. 2 more times to each side. Inhale, sit back in chair. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhale, twist right. Take a breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, chair, hands to heart center. Use your thumbs to lift your heart. Inhale, tail back. Exhale, twist left. Take a breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, soften. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sit back in chair, hands to heart. Take a breath. Exhale, twist right. Take a breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sit back, hands to heart. Breathe in. Exhale, twist left. Breathe in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Listen, different direction. Inhale, half lift. Step left foot back into knee down lunge. We'll do our twisting lunge variation, back knee down. Take the time if you want to find padding for it. Left hand off the edge of your mat, right hand to sacrum. Inhale, lengthen the spine from your grounded sacrum. Exhale, soften right shoulder back. Either stay right here for a few more breaths. Some of you might need to lower elbow down to ground or block, and that's fine. Or back up for a higher twist, left elbow on our cross right thigh. And a couple more breaths. Some of you want to straighten back leg into crescent or warrior twist. Go for it. One more breath in. Exhale, hands down to either side of front foot, half splits. Shift your hips back for your hamstring stretch. Any expression of this hamstring stretch. You can stay on the back knee. Maybe move the right foot forward so hips balance right over knee. Take pressure off the joint. Or you can sit on the back heel or even stand on the back foot if your knee wants you to get off it. Pigeon. Bend the right knee enough that you can get your right shin on the floor. For a straightforward pigeon. Or return to deer pose. In deer pose, or if you already did pigeon earlier, maybe now you explore different angles, twisting towards the thigh or twisting towards the foot. If you're on your back, return to figure four. Maybe this time you come into pigeon on the back, left leg on the ground or straight. Make sure you're flexing right foot so there's not pressure on the knee. Keep it in if you need. If you want to bring it closer to your face, lift the foot up to the ceiling first. Make sure there's lots of space behind knee. And then you draw it in. All right, I'll get quiet so you can sink into your own hips. Actually, I have one more suggestion because I would like to do this. We haven't done a lot of shoulder work. Sometimes in pigeon, I prop my elbows up on blocks so I can let the shoulders sink back and soften back of heart. If you're still exploring, take one more moment to settle into stillness so you can receive a full breath in. Surrender to the exhale. And find your way to a neutral spot. Neutral might be Extending right leg behind you or out into a belly down or on your back Shavasana. You might be craving a downward dog or some cats and cows. Take 3 full breaths, whatever neutral is to you physically. We'll meet with left foot forward for twisting lunge, hand on sacrum. Back knee is down for this twist, right hand pretty far out to the right. And you can actually lower onto your elbow. For this variation, for this wide, spacious twist, I don't think you can really see my spine. But I think this is fine if you let the right side body kind of sway, whether you're on hand or elbow. Next, when we move into the deeper twist, I'm going to be a lot fussier about making sure you don't sway the spine. And I didn't offer non-knee down versions for you guys before. If you didn't figure that out, you can line your back and do a spinal twist. Or you can sit and do a spinal twist. Okay. Either continue to settle where you are for 3 more breaths or 5 more breaths, or go into a higher twist, hooking right elbow over left thigh. Here, I do want your spine to remain straight so that it has room to spiral. You can't spiral a swayed spine. So engage the right side body muscles. Any expression. Half splits or your hamstring stretch on this side. Left leg straight enough to find your hamstrings. If you're lying on your back, any hamstring stretch, left leg in the air. And pigeon. Come forward enough that you can lower left shin on the earth if you're doing a belly down version of pigeon or deer. You might take several breaths to explore this hip. Or you might settle in and take 5 high quality breaths. Feeling. Receiving. And Shavasana. Some of you will be able to roll right into Shavasana from where you are. Others' bodies might crave some movement, neutralizing physically with breath. Well, there's down dogs or happy babies. I'll leave that up to you. For those of you, the wind brings up some anxiety. You might steady yourself in more of a belly down position. Well, you can either ground your Shavasana, keep hands on your belly, cover your eyes, or come into a child's pose or belly down Shavasana. Even a really restorative shape. so you can settle into a sense of security. And as always, if you want to continue to rest, to settle, let my voice go into the background. Those of you resurfacing, start by deepening your breath. If a stretch sounds yummy, you can stretch arms up overhead, or if you're in child's pose, maybe stretch into a down dog. If you're on your back, I recommend curling up on one side, hugging the knees in, tucking the head down, fetal curve. And from your side, pressing hands into the ground, leaving your neck released. Head follows heart back up to your seat. Sitting with palms pressed, thumbs against your sternum, lift your heart. Bow. Feel your heartbeat. And from the center, we bow to each other. Namaste.